All right, what's up, guys? Should be here. We should be live. Appreciate you guys tuning into the stream. As always, we've got an 8-game Monday slate to break down. Definitely a big news day, and there is a lot of value today. So first off, we got to talk about some of the news that came out during the day and some of the important question marks that we're kind of monitoring right now. Definitely the biggest questionables are Rudy Gobert, who was downgraded to questionable. He wasn't even on the injury report, and now Rudy Gobert is questionable. You guys know that, if Rudy Gobert sits, Hassan Whiteside is going to be probably one of, if not the best value play on the slate. And because that game is at 8:30, it's an hour and a half after lock. Nobody's going to know if Gobert's playing or not. So definitely going to have to keep an eye on that. If Gobert gets ruled out after lock, I would want to be trying to swap and get Whiteside in my lineup because I would like Whiteside quite a bit if Gobert sits. And then we're monitoring some news from Minnesota as well, which is really important. D'Angelo Russell, he got downgraded to questionable. Anthony Edwards is doubtful. Patrick Beverley's questionable too. Like, Minnesota could be really shorthanded tonight if Russell, Beverley, even Taurean Prince, if all these guys sit. Obviously, Karl-Anthony Towns is going to have a monster usage rate. And then you see a lot of opportunity for Malik Beasley, for Jalen Noel, for Jordan McLaughlin. So there's definitely going to be some value to go to from Minnesota if we get Russell out, and along with Edwards, who is already expected to be out. But those are the big question marks right now. Big news to watch from Minnesota with Russell questionable, also Rudy Gobert questionable. Really important news, but that's really all the big ones. There's some other little ones, but in terms of this slate and what really is impactful, those are the two big ones. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. If we get any news during the stream, we'll obviously touch on that as always. But yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, and if you do have any questions tonight that you need answered, you can throw those in chat. We're going to start from the top, just kind of work our way down, try and get through all these questions. We'll be live to about 6:30, so we'll go live for about 20-25 minutes. Again, if you have questions, you start throwing those in chat. Appreciate all you guys, and yeah, let's hopefully win some money tonight. Hope you guys had a good weekend as well, man. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Final spot, should I take Maxey or RJ Barrett? I would go RJ Barrett there, Brenton. Pick 3 Warriors value, please. Thanks, Noah. So for me, when it comes to the Warriors, it's going to depend on starting lineup. That's going to be really important. It is worth noting that, so the Warriors are already missing all their main guys, but Otto Porter is questionable now, and Juan Toscano-Anderson is questionable now. So the Warriors were only going to have 10 available players. If Juan Toscano-Anderson sits and if Otto Porter sits, they only have 8 available players. At that point, all these guys are going to get minutes, but I definitely think Poole, Kuminga, Moody, I think those guys look like really good values. I think they're going to play a ton. I think Kuminga and Moody would probably still play even in a blowout. Poole probably doesn't play in a blowout, but he's just so cheap that you kind of have to play him anyway. But yeah, there's just so many guys are in play here. Even Bjelica off the bench, I kind of have interest in. Bjelica's a really good point per minute player. So I could definitely see him doing really well, even if he only plays 22, 24 minutes. Damian Lee should play a good amount off the bench. But starters are going to be really important here. Right now, I'll say that Poole, Kuminga, Moody, my 3 favorite plays from Golden State. But if Juan Toscano-Anderson and Porter sit, at that point, you can just about play anyone because they're only going to have 8 players at that point. Thoughts on Finney-Smith, 10.5 points prop on Prize Picks. Yeah, there's some people in my Discord kind of talking about that one. I'm not super high on it. Dorian Finney-Smith is one of those guys I just don't want to bet points props on. Because in order for Dorian Finney-Smith to hit his points prop, he's probably going to get there just from shooting threes. If Dorian Finney-Smith shoots 4 for 5 from 3 tonight, which he absolutely could do, obviously he'll hit his points prop. But that's just a guy that I don't really want to be banking on making threes. So I'm not super high on that one. I would lean the over if I had to pick a side, Denise, but I'm not going to bet that myself. Let's get the juice today, Noah. Let's get it, Dirty Dan. Let's get it, my man. Would you do Ellaby and Looney or Moody and Monk? I would take Moody and Monk there, Nicholas. Moody and Monk. Give me Warriors, Portland, and Jokic and Murray. Yeah, that's kind of how this slate's shaking up. You just kind of play the Warriors values. You play maybe some Minnesota value, maybe some Portland value, and then you fill in with whatever studs you like. That's kind of the chalk way to approach this slate. RJ Barrett or Josh Hart? I would say Josh Hart, but that's pretty close between those two. Any interest in Mitchell? And Donovan Mitchell? I don't think so. Just not on this slate. He's not a guy that I'm super high on personally. So many other studs I'd rather go to. Towns or go up to Jokic is my question. Dirty Dan, honestly, you could play both. There's enough value to do so. But I would say, for me, I would prefer to get to Jokic. But man, both those guys are pretty good pay-up options tonight. 3 Warriors, Poole, Moody, and Kuminga. That's who will ball. I mean, those are my favorite 3. But again, we're gonna have to watch the starting lineup. We're gonna have to wait and see, if Porter plays, if if Juan Scott Anderson plays, because there's gonna be value to go to regardless. But those are my 3 favorites. Sirius Jones, what's up, my man? What's up? Favorite values other than the Warriors? I mean, it's gonna depend on who plays for Minnesota, because if like Russell, Edwards, Beverly are all out, then yeah, I like Beasley a lot. I would like McLaughlin a lot. Noel off the bench would be viable. So Minnesota could be a team to go to for value. Portland, there's some value on Portland as well. Without Anthony Simons, I'm guessing Brandon Williams is going to start at point guard. He's only 3,800. I like him a lot for value. So these are kind of the other value plays you can consider outside of the Warriors, guys. Top 2 studs. For me, it's probably Jokic and Luka. But I think, DeJounte Murray's in a great spot against the Lakers. If D'Angelo Russell gets ruled out, I mean, Karl Anthony Towns should just get monster usage in a great matchup too. But I think on this slate, like in terms of ceiling, I think Jokic and Luka offer the biggest ceiling and floor as well. Like those guys, like even a bad night for Jokic, a bad night for Luka, they can still give you like 45, 50. So they're the guys that I like building around. But there's plenty of studs to go to on this slate. Favorite guy between 5K and 5.5K? No position. I mean, it's got to be Jordan Poole for 5,300 if you don't have him already. Good to see you. My guy been MIA this year. Took some time off DFS. Ready to get back to work, bro. Thanks as always for the content and advice. Hey, Galvin. Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. Welcome back. Welcome back, buddy. D'Lo and Gobert. They're both questionable. Yeah, that's right. Also, I'm playing value at center over top end studs of the position. Well, I mean, there's not really much value that I like at center. Like if you're going cheap at center, I'm guessing you're playing like Kevon Looney or Drew Eubanks. I think center is a position is like all the value on this slate is coming at guard and forward, so I think center is a position to pay up at. You got Jokic, you got Embiid, you got Cat, like all those guys I'm interested in. Jokic, my favorite. Harden, Towns, or Murray? I would say it would be between Towns and Murray there. I think if Russell gets ruled out, I'll probably side with Towns over Murray, but that's pretty close. What's up, Robert? What's up, my man? Let's get it. Let's get it, baby. DeRozan, Randall, or Fox? Give me De'Aaron Fox there. Jokic and Bam or Towns and Murray? Give me Towns and Murray there. Hart or Sadiq Bey? Give me Josh Hart. How we looking? Dinwiddie, Sadiq Bey, Josh Hart, Christian Wood, Emmanuel Quickly, Kuminga, Cade Cunningham. I mean, Mitch, I'll be honest, like I don't think you have enough Warriors there. I mean, only playing one Golden State guy tonight seems like that's not. I would want to have multiple Warriors in my lineup, I think. The Warriors are just so short-handed and everyone is so cheap on their team. Like, if you're just playing one Warrior, I feel like that's the wrong way to do it. You got to play at least like 2 to 3, I think. Thoughts on Jimmy Butler with Lowry back? I'm not super high on Jimmy Butler. Obviously, the matchup's fantastic, but there's a lot of blowout risk here. I mean, Miami is basically back to full strength. They got Kyle Lowry back. Victor Oladipo is expected to play. Like, Miami should just beat the crap out of Houston tonight. So, I really don't want to be playing many of these Miami guys. If somehow the game stays close, I would not be surprised if Jimmy smashes or Bam smashes because the matchup's so good. But my God, like, if this game doesn't blow out, I would be really surprised. Straight up, Kuminga, Watford, Eubanks. Or straight up Kuminga and Watford or Eubanks and Watford. I would go Kuminga and Watford, the first one there. Would you be trying to pair Murray and Jokic? I mean, there's enough value to do so. So if you want to go that route, I have no issue with that. Any interest in Bogdan with Herter out? I don't think Herter being out is too impactful. Bogdan should play a little bit more. DeAndre Hunter should play a little bit more. But on this slate, like, I don't think those guys really stand out just because there's so many other shorthanded teams. Outside of Herter, Atlanta's pretty much fully healthy. They still have a pretty deep lineup, and they have plenty of guys they can give minutes to. So I really don't think Kevin Herter being out is that impactful. How would you rank the Portland value? When it comes to Portland, I think Brandon Williams is my favorite. That is assuming that he starts at point guard because he's only 3,800. And then I really like Josh Hart. The only concern about Josh Hart is that you need the game to stay close. But if the game does stay close, I think Josh Hart does really well because he should just get monster usage without Dame, Nurkic, Simons, Winslow. So probably would say Williams number 1, Hart number 2. And then, like, third is between Watford, Eubanks, Ellaby. Probably Ellaby third, Watford fourth, Eubanks fifth. But I'm really liking Brandon Williams and Josh Hart from Portland. Those are my 2 favorites. And I think Brandon Williams, he's very, very safe. Like, even if the game blows out, which it could, Brandon Williams would probably still play in a blowout. Obviously, Josh Hart would not. But I would just hope the game stays close. Hart should crush if it does. Doncic or Trae Young? Give me Luka. Favorite small forwards on Yahoo not named LeBron? It's probably, like, there's some cheap options I like at small forward. I mean, you got Josh Hart, who I talked about I like quite a bit. RJ Barrett, I think you could go to as well. But for cheap, Alec Burks, I think is too cheap on Yahoo. I think Moses Moody's a good value if he starts. So, like, Hart, Burks, Moody, I would say those are, like, my 3 favorite small forwards on Yahoo. Thoughts on DeLon Wright? I'm not on DeLon Wright. The only times I ever played DeLon Wright is when Trey's out. If Trey's healthy, I don't really play DeLon Wright. Murray or LeBron? I would probably go DeJounte Murray. 4,900 below guard on DK. Let's see. It's probably going to be a Warrior if I had to guess. Maybe CJ Ellaby. I would say Malik Beasley. So if Russell and or Beverly sits, I would say Malik Beasley. Because Malik Beasley started last game without Russell. Or not Russell, but without Beverly. And he played a good amount before he got ejected. So I think if Beverly's out again or if Russell's out, Malik Beasley will start, probably play 30-plus minutes, and he's only 4,300. So that would be my pick there for a guard under 4,900. I'd take Malik Beasley. Heavy interest in Watford. I mean, Watford played a lot last game, but Portland is going to have more available players today. They only had 8 available players last game. They have 10 for today. So I don't know if Watford plays like 32 minutes again. I think he plays maybe 25, 26. He's not that cheap on DraftKings, so I'm not super excited about Watford on DraftKings, but if you play on Yahoo, like, he's a lot cheaper there. He's at center, and he's $13, so, like, I'd be fine with Watford on Yahoo. I'm not super excited about him at his DraftKings price, though. I don't think he plays 32 minutes again. I think he probably gets, like, mid to high 20s, just because they have Elijah Hughes is available and Greg Brown's available. 2 guys that can, take minutes away from Watford. Greg Brown, a top 5 value play. I'm not interested in Greg Brown. I assume he comes off the bench and plays like 20 minutes. Just not someone I'm looking to on this slate. Any Jimmy Butler love? We talked about Jimmy Butler earlier. I'm not super excited about Jimmy Butler. I worry about the blowout. The Heat are fully healthy. I don't think Jimmy Butler stands out. Any underrated plays that's predicting well that think will be lower owned? So, like, lower owned plays that I like. I mean, from Golden State, like, there's some of these value guys that won't be super popular. So, like, Bielitsa at 3,500. Like, if Bielitsa plays 24 minutes, I mean, he can put up 30 DraftKings points in 24 minutes. Bielitsa would obviously play in a blowout. I feel pretty good about Bielitsa. And if, like, he might be more popular than I think he will be, but right now I don't think his ownership will be super high. Now, if Juan Anderson and Otto Porter both are out, then at that point, yeah, Bielitsa will probably be pretty popular because at that point, Golden State only has 8 players. But I think Bielitsa's a pretty good, like, low-owned option coming off the bench. And then, I don't know who else. Like, I mean, there's some studs that I don't think will be super chalky. Like, I don't think Luka's going to be super popular. So Luka I kind of like as a lower-owned option. But definitely Bielitsa for sure. Also, Keldon Johnson. I mean, Keldon Johnson's one of those guys I just don't play that often. Obviously, the matchup's really good against the Lakers. It should be a fast-paced game, should be high-scoring, but his price came up a little bit. I don't think I'm super high on Keldon Johnson, personally. Is it okay to start Kuminga over Otto if Otto sits in case there's a blowout? I would straight up play Kuminga over Otto Porter. I mean, I think there's a pretty good chance Otto Porter doesn't play. It's just, it's the front end of a back-to-back. They play again tomorrow. Like, I don't think they really want to push Otto Porter here. So, yeah, if Otto Porter sits, I would prefer Kuminga anyway. But if Otto Porter sits, I just feel even better about Kuminga. Kuminga, he'll play in a blowout regardless. So, Kuminga's going to start, play big minutes. If the game gets ugly, he'll still be out there. So, I feel really good about Kuminga. How do you feel about Lou Will? Not on Lou Will. I mean, I know Kevin Herter's out, but I don't think that makes too much of an impact. We kind of talked about that. Who benefits the most with Vassell and Walker doubtful? Any interest in San Antonio guys? Yeah, so I guess we should have talked about that. So Devin Vassell is doubtful, and Lonnie Walker, I believe, is doubtful as well. So, I mean, with both those guys out, you might see more minutes for, like, Josh Primo. Now, I really question the upside for Josh Primo. He hasn't shown a ton of upside this season. Obviously, the matchup's really good, but DeJounte Murray's going to dominate the usage on this team. So does Keldon Johnson. Like, it's just hard for these other guys from San Antonio to really put up massive games. Like Doug McDermott, Primo. I mean, Josh Richardson is 3K, but how much does Josh Richardson play here? He only played 6 minutes last game. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you want to take a shot on, like, a Josh Richardson or a Primo, it's okay, but I'm really looking to DeJounte Murray, and that's probably it from San Antonio. I don't really see much interest in anyone else. What's up, Noah? You think Gobert sits tonight? I would think he plays, Patrick. I mean, they played OKC yesterday. If Gobert was really hurt, they should have sat him yesterday. I don't know why they would sit him today and play him against OKC. So I'm expecting Gobert to play. If he doesn't, then, I'll make some changes if I have to. We kind of already talked about it. If Gobert gets ruled out after lock, I would want to late swap and get Whiteside in my lineup, because Whiteside's ownership would not be nearly as high as it should be. Dinwiddie without Brunson? Yeah, definitely think Dinwiddie's in play. He's kind of you could throw him into that low-owned guy that has upside. I don't think many people are going to play Dinwiddie. We saw Dinwiddie have a massive game last game without Luka. You would have to think without Brunson, he's going to have a pretty big role once again. They're going to stagger Luka and Dinwiddie so that, Dinwiddie will get some minutes without Luka on the floor. He should be really productive in those minutes. Definitely think Dinwiddie's in play with Brunson out. Cat or Jokic? I would take Jokic straight up. Embiid or Jokic? Give me Jokic. LB has nice hair. Yeah, CJ LB, dude's got like an afro. He's got some luscious locks, my man. I've watched some Portland games this year. Actually watched their last game, dude. When he runs, like, his hair just bounces up and down. Dude's got a damn massive afro. What do you think about Jalen Green? Not really on Jalen Green. Houston in general, I'm not that high on. I don't know why, but there's people every day. I swear I get Jalen Green questions every day, and like, what has Jalen Green done this season? Like, he hasn't done anything. Quickly, stuff in the stat sheet. Do you think he's low owned in the late night hammer? I mean, I don't think many people are going to play Quickly. What's his price? I haven't even looked at him. I mean, he's 4,200. I know he's been playing really well lately. I mean, the matchup obviously against Sacramento is really, really good. You never know how many minutes Quickly's going to play, but yeah, if you want to go there as a low-owned option, I don't hate it. But I feel like there's better values on this slate than trying to guess if Quickly plays like 28 minutes again. Hart or Maxey? I would take a Hart. Brandon Williams, Jordan Poole, Damian Lee, Kuminga, Eubanks, DeJounte Murray. Jay Green, is that Jamichael Green, Jeff Green? Jalen Green, maybe? I don't know. You have to be more specific there. I mean, I think that looks solid, Dave. I don't know if that's like Jalen Green or Jamichael Green or Jeff Green, but I think that looks solid regardless. I like the rest of that lineup. Thoughts on Cade? I'm not really on Cade Cunningham. He's just a guy that I haven't played much this year, and when I do play Cade Cunningham, he always seems to shit the bed, so I'm not super excited about Cade Cunningham on this slate. Too many other options I prefer. Utility for 8,900. I would say, like, if Vooch gets ruled out, I would definitely be interested in Zach LaVine. That's news we're still waiting on, as well as Vooch, who's questionable. Okay, so we did just get word that D'Angelo Russell is out. So, man, that's going to make Minnesota pretty shorthanded. Yeah, definitely like Malik Beasley now, especially if Patrick Beverley sits as well. We'll have to wait and see if Beverley's in or out. But yeah, now that D'Angelo Russell's out, man, Malik Beasley should play a lot of minutes. And if he didn't get ejected last game, he was on pace to play like 35 minutes, I think. Okay, so D'Angelo Russell is out. Anthony Edwards is out. Patrick Beverley will play. Naz Reid will play. Taurean Prince will play. So no Edwards, no Russell. I mean, should be a monster usage rate for Cat tonight. I mean, he's got to be up there with like Jokic, Luka, DeJounte Murray is like my favorite stud options. If this game stays close, I think Cat should smash. I mean, he smashed last time they played on Saturday. He went for almost 70. Wouldn't be surprised if he puts up close to 70 again. Matchup is so good against, Drew Eubanks and Watford and these guys. I mean, they have no shot at stopping Cat. So definitely like some of these Minnesota guys. Cat and Beasley probably my 2 favorites. But yeah, for the util 8900, I would say if Vooch gets ruled out, I would definitely play Levine there. If Vooch plays, I'd probably go like maybe RJ Barrett, maybe Josh Hart if you don't have Hart already. But I would say just kind of wait for Vooch news, because if he sits, I do have interest in Levine, or I would have interest in Levine. Tristan Thompson if Vooch sits, I mean, yeah, you could definitely go to Tristan Thompson as well. I'm guessing Tristan Thompson would start at center. He probably would have to play as many minutes as he could handle going up against Embiid. So, like, Tristan Thompson, if Vooch is out, Tristan Thompson probably plays like 34 minutes, 35 minutes. Now, Tristan Thompson's never been a great point-per-minute player, but he's 3,200, and he's got power forward and center eligibility, and he probably would play 30 minutes. So, I would have some interest in Tristan Thompson, too, if Vooch sits. Thoughts on Jeremy Grant? I mean, I think Grant's fine. He's probably the one guy that I am interested in from Detroit. I'm not really looking to many other Detroit guys, but, you know, Grant is 6,500. Again, if it's a close game, he plays like 33, 34 minutes. I think he's a fine option. He's probably my favorite play from Detroit if I had to play anyone on that team. Luka, Embiid, or Jokic? I would say Jokic there. You like Carmelo? I think Carmelo's fine. He's going to play around 30 minutes off the bench. His price is about where it should be, but, you know, the matchup's really good. It should be a fast-paced game. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see Carmelo have a good game tonight. You like Trae Young? He's not, like, at the top of my list. Like, I think Jokic, Luka, DeJounte Murray, Cat, like, that's kind of where I'm looking to spend my salary at tonight. But, I mean, against Detroit, like, nobody would be surprised if Trae put up a massive game here. But I would say he's probably, like, 5th or 6th on my list in terms of stud options. Also, McDaniels. I'm not super high on Jaden McDaniels. I mean, he's been getting good minutes lately, and he did play a lot last game. But he's never really been a great point-per-minute player. I mean, we have a sample of him this season. I think on the season, he's averaged, like, I want to say, like, 0.6 or 0.7 fantasy points per minute. Like, he's not a great producer. So, even though he's coming off a good game, I'm not really looking to McDaniels, especially with his price coming up. I'd rather play, like, Malik Beasley at a similar price, who has more upside. Bogdan or Keldon Johnson on DK? Give me Keldon Johnson. Harden or Murray last in on Yahoo? I would take DeJounte Murray. Thoughts on Looney? I'm not really high on Looney. I'm definitely worried that Looney doesn't play a ton of minutes here. You know, going up against Denver, obviously they need some size out there, but this is a game where we could just see Golden State really just play all their, you know, other guys. Like, Looney's a key piece of their rotation. He's obviously a starter, so are they just going to play Looney 36 minutes tonight? Like, I don't think so. I really think they're going to limit him a good amount, so I'm not really that high on Looney. And I don't know if, like, if Steph, Clay, Wiggins, if those guys being out really even changes Looney's role. Because, like, Looney, when he has a good game, it's because he gets, like, 17 rebounds. He gets, like, a bunch of putbacks. Looney doesn't really create his own shot. I mean, the dude literally takes, like, 3 shots a game. Like, you can look at his game log, 4, 2, 5, 6. Like, he doesn't ever shoot the ball. When he gets points, it's because he gets, like, offensive rebounds and he gets putbacks. So I don't think those guys being out really even helps Looney. Looney or Bielitsa? I'd rather play Bielitsa, honestly. Thoughts on Trent Watford? Yeah, we talked about him. He played 32 minutes last game, but Portland is going to have 2 available players, or 2 more available players than they did last game. So with 10 available players for Portland, I don't think Watford plays 32 minutes again. I think he plays like 25, 26, which is still fine. But at 5,100, I would want him to play close to 30 minutes to be worth that salary. And I don't know if he gets close to 30 minutes. I think he gets a little bit less than that. 5K util, not from Golden State. It's probably like Malik Beasley, honestly. Malik Beasley or Whiteside if Gobert sits. We obviously talked about that. I would say put Whiteside in there for now. And if Gobert winds up playing, then just swap from Whiteside to Beasley. That would be my way to go. But I would definitely want to, like, leave a spot open to get Whiteside in if Gobert sits. Yeah, I'm seeing some Trey Jones questions. I'm not super high on Trey Jones. I don't know if his role really changes because he's kind of like the backup point guard. So, like, are they going to play Trey Jones alongside DeJounte Murray? Like, I don't think so. I think Trey Jones is just, like, he's just been backing up DeJounte Murray pretty much. You know, they might play a few minutes alongside each other, but I don't know if he really gets a big boost in minutes. It's probably just going to be like Primo plays a little bit more, maybe Romeo Langford plays a little bit more, maybe Josh Richardson plays a little bit more. But we talked about it, like I'm not super high on those Spurs value guys. Yeah, if you wanted to go to Ben McLemore, like that's fine. But he's definitely down the bottom of my list when it comes to like Portland value. He's not nowhere near the top. I was on Ben McLemore last slate and he was kind of mediocre. If I don't play him today, he's probably going to go off because that's how it works. But not super high on Ben McLemore. Favorite Minnesota player not named Towns if D'Lo's out. Well, D'Lo is out. I would say Malik Beasley. Jokic and DeRozan or Cat and Luka. Give me Cat and Luka. You think Denver will play Jokic after half if they're up big? I mean, they'll play him. We don't really ever see guys get sat at halftime. Usually, if it's a blowout, Jokic will play until the third quarter, and then he probably won't play in the fourth quarter. But Jokic should play 24, 25 minutes at the worst. And that's if it's like a really big blowout. Obviously, we don't want Jokic playing 25 minutes, but worst case scenario, that's how many minutes he probably plays. But if the game's close, I think he plays 33, 34 minutes. Okay, Josh just put in chat that Vooch is out. So yeah, Vooch is officially out. So definitely think that makes some of those Chicago guys look more appealing. DeRozan, LaVine. You know, I haven't really been on DeRozan or LaVine the last few slates, but I think without Vooch, there's definitely some opportunity for DeRozan and LaVine. We'll take a look at Prize Picks, see if they have any Bulls props on the board. I wonder if they took him down. Yes, it looks like they took him down. If you got in on like LaVine or DeRozan's points earlier, that should be a pretty winnable bet. Looks like Bulls will start Io, LaVine, Javonte Green, DeRozan, and Tristan Thompson. So yeah. So I think from the Bulls now, DeRozan it becomes a viable option. Still don't love him at almost 10K, but I think he's definitely in play now. LaVine might be my favorite at 8,300. And then if you want to go to Tristan Thompson, you know, he's a viable value play too. Honestly, I was surprised that Vooch is sitting. Usually Vooch plays when he's questionable, but yeah, it's pretty surprising. All right, we're going to answer a few more questions, and we're going to hop out of here, guys. We're already at 6:30. I'm going to answer a few more questions. Think Jokic plays less minutes than usual after OT game? I mean, it's possible, Michael, but like I think if the game stays close, Jokic plays 32, 33, 34 minutes. In order for Jokic to see a big bump down in minutes, it would have to be because of blowout, most likely. I would be very surprised if it's a close game and Jokic only plays like 20-something minutes. Like, that would surprise me. He's going to play full minutes if the game's close, I would assume. Vincent or Quickly? Definitely give me Quickly. I would be off Gabe Vincent. Now that Kyle Lowry's playing, now that Oladipo's available, like, yeah, no interest in Gabe Vincent. I actually took the under on Gabe Vincent's assist today in my Prize Pick video, and I feel really good about that bet now that Lowry's playing. Sabonis or Bam? Give me Sabonis. 10-3 at util. I would say probably either DeRozan or Trae Young. If you could get up to Cat, I would like to get up to Cat, but probably DeRozan or Trae. That's really close. I guess give me Trae between those two. $15 left on Yahoo. Already have Beasley. Let's take a look. $15 at util. Already have Beasley. I mean, you got Watford, who I talked about on Yahoo. I do have interest in because he's cheaper there. Probably Moses Moody, though, if you don't have Moses Moody already. Because I think Moses Moody is going to play a lot for Golden State, and he would play in a blowout as well. So probably would go Moody there. Tyrese Maxey, threes made plus 210 to make 3 threes. I mean, I think that's a decent bet if you're getting like plus 210 on that. I mean, Maxey's made like, you look at his three-point attempts now, Maxey hasn't been shooting a ton of threes lately, but he's been really efficient. 3 for 6, 5 for 6, 4 for 6, 3 for 5, 2 for 3. I mean, he's been getting some open looks, obviously. He's been shooting really well from 3. So, I don't hate that. I can't bet, you know, props like that where I live. I have to bet on Prize Picks, but I definitely think that's a good one. Okay, we just got the Blazers starting lineup. They're starting Williams, Hart, Ellaby, Watford, Eubanks. So, Watford's starting, okay. Well, I definitely think now that Watford's starting, he becomes a little bit more appealing. I'll definitely have to bump up Watford a little bit because I think now that he is starting with Eubanks, Watford looks a lot more appealing. So those people that were asking earlier about Watford, I would kind of change my thoughts on that. Now that he's starting, he might play 30, 32 minutes again. But Williams starting as expected, Hart, Ellaby, and then Watford, Eubanks. How would you rank Watford, Eubanks, and Vanderbilt at center? I would probably say Watford now that he's starting. Keldon Johnson or Eubanks, regardless of price, give me Keldon Johnson. Give me Keldon Johnson. All right, boys, that's it. I'm out of here. I wish you guys the best of luck tonight. I hope you enjoy your Monday night. We'll be back tomorrow. I think we have a 6-game slate tomorrow for Tuesday, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Again, best of luck. We'll be back tomorrow an hour before lock. Hope you guys win some money tonight, and we'll see you then. Peace out, fellas.